Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halabi and I'm a professional Muslim life coach, and today I'd like to talk to you about boundaries. Now I get a lot of requests from women to help them establish boundaries or come to the understanding that that's actually what's needed. But for a lot of the women that come to me, the idea of a boundary, the idea of establishing some kind of framework that would allow them to deal with others and have others deal with them in a way that is best for them, in a way that they're okay with, in a way that doesn't deplete, demean, or take anything away. And for a lot of women, just the idea of something like that, just the idea of a boundary or having a say in how and what they will accept from others is a completely alien concept. And I'll give an example. There was a lady that came to me and she had had what you might term as a bit of a difficult childhood. She was part of a very big family, and there were always aunts and uncles all around. She grew up in a house filled with cousins and siblings and a big family. And in her childhood, she remembers people not being particularly very kind. Now, this may have come in the form of an elder shouting at her, telling her off, or being constantly berated for some kind of misbehaviour that to her, she didn't know what she was doing. She was a kid, she was just playing, but she seemed to get told off a lot. And there was a certain individual within her household that went a little bit beyond what you might term as a normal or acceptable level of discipline, of behavioural management. And it was so ingrained in her, or the message that she got growing up was that this is what you do. But at some level, she knew that it wasn't right. She knew that she was being told off a little bit more harshly than what was required, than what was acceptable, that she was smacked, that she was punished, she was put in a dark room, she was disciplined in a way that not even a long time ago, but back then was what she saw around her. That's the way things were dealt with. But even as a little girl, and having that happen to her and to her cousins, and something didn't sit quite well with her. Anyway, fast forward, she's now a grown woman. She has her own family. She is, she's a striver. She is trying. She is, she is slaying it, to be fair, as a mum, because she is the best mum for her child, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose her to be. But something came up quite recently when she went to visit some family, and one of the, I'd say, perpetrators actually was around, and it was completely unexpected. It was at a family gathering where she didn't expect to see this person, and this person berated her child in a way that she didn't agree with. And it triggered her to thinking about when she was a child and she was told off and she was treated in a way that was, that just felt off to her back then. And to have this person do the same or along the same lines to her child, it sent her into all sorts of traumatic memories, and she took her child and left. But not before saying to this person, you did it to me, you're not doing it to my child. And she left. Now, this was witnessed by some of the other people in the room, and it's caused, lots of people are saying, well, what do you mean by that? And for her, she feels very, very judged by the responses of the other people in the room. She's been told that she's out of order. She shouldn't speak to elders like that. She shouldn't have responded or behaved in that way. That, children need to be disciplined. Children need to be told off. Children need to be managed. And when she contacted me and we had a conversation about not specifically this instance, but other things that were going on in her life, it came down to, or one of the biggest issues that she felt was, if she had established a better boundary, and this is what she was feeling, this is not the truth, but this is what she said, if she had established a better boundary or had put in place better defences, if you like, then this wouldn't have happened to her child. And she had enormous mum guilt. She had enormous guilt about her, you know, putting her child through that. Her child, to be fair, was okay, you know, because she wasn't carrying, her little girl wasn't carrying the weight of historic memories, historic thinking, habitual feelings as her mum. So for her, it might not have been a nice endeavour or a nice circumstance, you know, to be told off by some random person for something that really wasn't, you know, really worth being told off for. But she took it for what it was. Whereas her mum took it to mean all of the failures of her for not putting in place these boundaries. Now, you might be wondering, why am I telling you about this? Because the word boundary, and when we talk about in the self-care world, if you like, you know, it's important to establish boundaries. For a lot of people, and especially for Muslim women, the idea of establishing a boundary, it's almost like an alien concept, because in their mind, a boundary isn't, what a boundary means to them is keeping people away. And for a lot of them, the people that are being kept away are family or close ties, close relations, or people close to them. And within our faith, we're told that we have to maintain the ties of kinship. But there is something that has been translated and convoluted and confused with keeping a healthy distance from someone and completely breaking ties with that person. And over the years, there are a lot of cultural expectations. There are a lot of, you know, we just don't say anything. It's hush hush, keep it all under the carpet, maintaining an image. And so that goes to even more of a difficulty for establishing a boundary. Well, when we worked on what boundaries actually mean, it's not a brick wall that you put up to keep others out. When I speak with my clients about establishing a boundary, a healthy boundary, it's like having your front door and having one of those, you know, those video doorbells, and then you invite people in a way that you feel comfortable. So it's not to keep them out. It's not like they, you know, press the buzzer and they're electrocuted and you've got barbed wire all over the place. It's not that. It is establishing a way in which you get to share yourself in a way that you want with the people that you want, in a way that doesn't demean, deplete, take anything away from you, doesn't mean that you have to play a role, that you can be who you are, who you want to be. Share that with the people that you want to share the best of yourself, or whichever parts of yourself you want to. But it comes down to choice. It comes down to you having the ability, the choice, this gift of free will that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. That's the thing that separates us from every other creation of Allah. It's the thing that makes us the most loved, the most amazing of his creations. So the fact that we get to choose, we get to decide, because there's no compulsion in our faith, we get to decide what we do, how we behave, where we go, how we interact with people. But when we feel that we can't do that because of expectations, because of cultural norms, because of keeping ties, because of, keeping face, then that's when we're demeaning, depleting, and it's taking away from us. But to establish a healthy boundary, it's to put forward a protective, not barrier, but a protective support. And then you get to choose what you share and how you share of yourself with the people that you want to. And it's managing those interactions in a way that is healthy for you. So whoever it was, the family member or the extended family member that told her little girl off, she gets to decide how she interacts with that person. That is establishing a healthy boundary, because she's still putting forward, you know, how she feels. She's still putting forward what she chooses to do, and she chose and decided that that behaviour was not her child's behaviour, the family member's behaviour, that the family member's behaviour was not only not acceptable, but it was not going to be tolerated, and it was not going to be accepted, and it was not going to be ignored. And she did it I think, in the kindest of ways. She didn't shout and scream. She didn't cause a scene. She told her, this is not on. You did this to me. You're not doing this to my child. And she took her child and she left. Now, when we speak about, and when I work with my clients about boundaries, it's really making the choices that are best for you, and knowing that you are allowed, and actually it's your responsibility. You are accountable. The way you behave, that's on you. The way others behave, that's on them. We can't do anything about them, but you can decide how you decide to live your life, how you show up in life, how you, what you do based on the decisions that you make, how you interact with your children, how you interact in your, with your spouse, in work, in your community, with, how you do you even. That is the greatest choice that you have. So when we think about boundaries, it's not about keeping people out or keeping, or hiding away from the world. It's establishing a protective, it's not barrier, but a protective shield, if you like, that allows what you want in and allows you to share what you want with the world, with others. If you have problems or issues or challenges in doing that for yourself, why do you think that is? Why do you think you find it difficult to establish healthy boundaries? Why do you think it's a bit difficult to put those safeguarding, your welfare safeguarding procedures into place? What is it about the word boundary, or the word boundary that seems, that's not something you can do? I'd love to know, because when we've worked on exactly that before, there are so many things that come up, in terms of a person's self-esteem, a person's confidence with themselves, the ability to actually have a say and a choice in what they do. And these are women that are, on a day-to-day level are going out in the world, and they are, their mothers, their wives, their sisters, their business owners. They are homemakers. They are everything and anything in between. But they are, they go out in the world and they are doing stuff. These are not people that don't know. These are not people that can't do stuff. But when you think and feel that it's, you don't have a choice, or you don't have a say, or it's easier to just toe the party line. It's easier to, not cause waves because you don't want to offend anyone. You don't want to, you don't want to rock the boat for very different reasons. Then it depletes you. It depletes your energy. It depletes your self-worth. It depletes your self-image, and it costs you more to go out in the world having to play by someone else's rules, having to, just keep everyone else happy whilst you're not. So if that is something that you have problems with, or that you find difficult, I'd invite you to ask yourself why you think that is. And if you would like some real help to create the healthy boundaries, to create a healthy way of living, to create the life that you want, to live a life that you love, then pop us over a message. And inshallah, I pray that I will hear from you soon. As always, I hope that you are safe, well, happy and healthy, and I'll be on tomorrow for another little convo. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.